Hello, I'm Quadedria Jones, and this is my presentation on Cuba's climate change. Cuba is an island located in the Caribbean Sea. It lies west of the North Atlantic Ocean, east of the Gulf of Mexico, and south of Florida. Cuba is a low-lying island with more than 3,000 miles of coastline, making it vulnerable to rising seas and increased storm activity. Cuba has a relatively moderate subtropical climate that is mainly separated into the dry and wet seasons. During the hottest months of the year, trade winds and marine breezes help keep heat and humidity at a tolerable level. The dry season is from November to April, and the wet season is from May to October, where there is more rain and a larger threat of hurricanes. The Communist Party of Cuba is the only one allowed to rule despite multiple political parties existing, and this government controls more than 90% of the country's economy. This control makes the people of Cuba completely reliant on the government for healthcare, housing, food, and other basic needs. The biggest evidence of climate change in Cuba has been the increased severity of hurricanes. With warmer temperatures and increased humidity, this combination is only aiding the impact that hurricanes are having in the region. Most recently, Hurricane Irma set a record for the intensity and the duration of its stay in Cuba, 185 miles per hour and dumping water at a rate of 10.8 inches per hour. This intensity of disaster isn't the norm for the region. Some impacts of climate change in Cuba are increased presence of storms and droughts in the area. The general sea level rise around Cuba is higher than the global average, and reports from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change predict a 1.5-meter sea level rise by 2100. Food security is another issue that comes along with climate change and has already impacted the region. In 2008, Cuba was hit with 3 hurricanes that led to a dwindle in food supplies and an economic loss of $10 billion. Cuba has taken steps in the wake of more severe hurricanes: a ban on new home construction in vulnerable coastal areas, adaptation of infrastructure to coastal flooding, and adaptation of land use to drought and rising seawater. Focusing on food scarcity, new farming methods have been implemented such as drought-resistant crops, digging ponds to guarantee water supplies, crop diversification, and development of heat-resistant plant varieties. Cuba plans on protecting urban infrastructure and dwellings, rebuild urban seafronts, relocate homes, restore ecosystems, improve engineering and hydraulic infrastructures for coastal regions, enhancing water availability, and reforesting to protect soil and water resources.